Why does money have so much power over us? I can remember as a kid, 14 years old, I was a pool shark and I could play really well until there was money. But the moment that money entered the game, I couldn't play pool the way I used to be able to play moments before. Why is this? What is there about money, particularly when money on the line, that makes things so interesting, that choke us, that hold us away, or we're drawn to that kind of stuff where we, if we make money, if we win, if we make money, then we're really something else. One of the problems is that money is not really money. Money literally are your beliefs about what money can do for you. For instance, finish this line. If I had money, then. Notice the story that comes out. Notice that money suddenly becomes an elixir that makes all things possible. Yet we make this statement about, but we don't have money. And all of a sudden we see the scarcity get in. Ultimately, money has come to be literally what your identity gets wrapped around. Do you matter? Well, if you're an alpha, you got to make money. You got to win. You got to make things happen. And you're doing it to matter. Okay? Otherwise, what happens is you might also be a type of person that says, I have to work hard for my money, or I don't deserve it. And all of a sudden you start finding that there's a limit about what you are worth. And understand, this is not real, but it's a belief that you've fallen into that has crystallized, habituated, and is now creating your world. Also, the thing is how about scarcity thinking? That's what holds people into jobs that are dead end. It holds people in mortgages and all this stuff. Oh my God, if I went out and did that, then I don't know if I would, I don't know, what if I lost? So it's so much easier to know the devil that you know, rather than the devil you might meet on the road. But now we're beginning to see that money, this invention, starts taking over our identity. How much money do you make? Hey, what kind of job have you got? And it comes to be, but what is money? If you start talking to a person who looks at it as a transaction, it's not about his worth, his self-worth. It's not about his mattering. It's literally about how do I make things happen. It just so happens that money for that person becomes a lubricant to be able to create possibility and to bring it into fruition. Completely different way. I can remember in my own case is that I grew up in a family that had lost a fortune the generation before. Okay? Or stolen from them, maybe that's a better word. And what happened is I was growing up in this myth that the Macmillans had lost their money and they needed to get it back. And my cousin and I went and did these outlandish type of schemes to try to get the Macmillan money back. Okay? It just so happens that followed me into my adulthood. That thing of, it's a scarcity. I have to go get it. I was not thinking at that time that money is something that can be created. This was like have not. I have to be able to get what was taken from me. And then later, it double whammy. I'm working, I'm doing all that stuff, and every time I get close to that, something blows up. I sabotage it, and I'm back in the same old story. Do you see this story about money and power? Okay? And how it defines me. Later, unfortunate thing that happened in my parents' estate is that it got looted, and I really got left out of it. And it was a time when I was changing careers and going back to school, and I could have used that money. See the story, okay? And I held this scarcity thing. I need to get it back. And I took this person to court and all that and got a little penance out of it. But at some moment, I began to realize that my capacity to be able to help people change their lives added great value to my conversations, to my work with people, that they were willing to pay me for. And out of that, I began to see money as something that I'm being I am only receiving that which I have put in. The energy that I've put in has been able to change people so that they're changed and they have that value that says, yes, I hired you and thank you very much. This has been great. So my whole conversation about money began to change and evolve to where it's really more of a creation. It's the stuff that creates possibility. It's the stuff that it's the lubricant that makes things happen. Okay? It's the exchange. At the same time, we get locked up in our houses, and you see, I was driving in a car with a bank president a number of years ago, and I was the advertising guy. And we're driving along, and his wife looks at a guy in a very, very, very expensive car go by. And she looked at her husband, the bank president, and says, man, he must be doing well these days. And this guy shot back and says, you have no idea how he has it financed. The illusion of power, of prestige, was far more important than the fact that he had it leveraged tremendously. Okay? What I'm asking of you is to say, what is money to me? Is it about my power? Is it about my worth as a human being? Is it about my adequacy? Is it my sense of being lovable? Is it about my sense of belonging? Is it really about my sense of being able to keep safe? Do I hoard it? Or do I use it to grow things? What I'm asking you to do is say, what has it been? When you take a look at a guy in this big, huge executive mansion, it's all about look at me, look at me, look at me. So that money gets involved in his sense of power. What I'm asking you is that, and that's okay, okay? If you were to evolve though, if you were to say, this really isn't about feeding my false self, my adapted self. This is really about taking my higher sense of purpose, my higher sense of being in the world, my higher self. What would money be for that? If it is going to create new possibility, okay? What would that look like? Would it look like the same old way that we hoard money? Or would it look to be expansive? What would it look like for you? What I want you to get out of this is the recognition that money is not money. Money is about possibility. Money is about the beliefs that you have about your ability to engage the world and extract more worth out of it than you put back in. Extract more capital out of it than you put back in. Extract more mattering out of it than you put back in. And then you start going, I matter simply because I'm conscious creation. No matter how you define that, I have value just because I am. Now, what can money be there when you recognize I have value just as I am? I'm conscious creation. Money becomes another tool. Okay? What kind of tool would you like money to be beyond glorification of your ego? Okay? This is what we're looking for. Really conjure this up. Think about this. And take a look more at more of the videos and read my book about how we invent ourselves as a possibility, how we take the human potential that we are and the beliefs that we have about ourselves and money, and that potential shrinks, okay? Because it's looking for survival in the short term. It's not thinking about thriving in the long term. And what I'm asking of you, as you look into this money conversation that you have with yourself, it's about surviving. But what happened if it was about thriving in the long term? What shift would you have in the way you viewed money and used money? Think about it. Take care.